dressing room as well, which suggests he may well have played his last Test match, or certainly the next Test against South Africa will be his last. Your reaction to that?
Well, I wasn't in that press conference, and I don't want to comment on what Kevin may or may not have said.
It's going to dominate the headlines as Kevin inevitably does, and people will be worried that the guy who's just hit 149 and got a man of the match award, he's not going to be playing for England again.
Yeah, well, look, as I said, I'm quite happy to talk about how amazingly well he played this Test match. It was one of the best innings I've ever seen him play. But beyond that, what he may or may not have said is not for me to comment on at this stage.
Is there a problem in the dressing room?
As I said, I'm quite happy to talk about the cricket. I'm not happy to talk about anything other than the cricket at this stage.
In retrospect, was it a mistake to omit Graham Swan?
I was pretty happy with the strategy, you know, with the weather forecast to the second half of the game. You know, we felt our best way of winning the game was to win the toss, bowl first, and hopefully make use of the wicket. We probably misjudged the wicket a little bit. It didn't do as much as we'd like. You know, if it had done a bit more and we'd taken early wickets, then the strategy would have worked okay. But in the end, South Africa played well, and you know, we probably missed Graham in the second half of the game, given that they went on and got 400. But if we'd bowled him out cheaply, then it would have worked okay, I think.
Big Test match coming up for England to level the series. They have to win it. Is the Pietersen thing, which is going to dominate cricketing headlines, going to be a distraction? You may not wish to talk about it, Andrew, and I can understand that, but is it going to be a distraction from what is important?
Well, I certainly hope not. I mean, the truth is we want as few distractions as possible, and making sure we win this third Test match, and that's always the case. You know, you want to take anything that's happening off the field in your private life or anywhere, put it to one side and concentrate on doing everything you can to win a Test match for England. That's what we'll be doing next week.
Realistically, what do you think? Because you're going to get asked about it if you pull your head out of your pram and bring it all.
Well, I think we've got a great chance of winning that third Test match.
Clearly, Kevin's head is not probably in the best place at the moment. Will that affect selection for the final Test?
Well, he seems to play pretty well this week. You know, Kevin's an unbelievable player, and you know, I've long since stopped trying to guess how he's going to play the next time you see him. But as he showed this week, he's in great form.
You're constantly having to manage situations around Kevin, whether it's to do with on-field or off-field issues. I mean, how difficult does that make your job as captain?
As I said, I'm not here to talk about Kevin Pietersen. I'm quite happy to talk about anything that went on in this game, but this is not something I want to talk about at this stage.
It's a central thing to this game because of, yeah, he's come in and spoken to us. So.
Yeah, but I wasn't there in the press conference. I don't know what he said. And whatever he said, you can quote him on, but I haven't heard it, so I'm not going to do it.
He said it's difficult being me in the dressing room.
Well, I haven't heard the quote, so I'm not going to comment on it.
Isn't that quite a difficult thing for you to hear as captain, that one of your players finds life so tough in the dressing room that you've created, you know, supposedly a great team environment?
I'm not going to comment on something I haven't heard.
Andrew, Michael Vaughan always used to say that you could carry sort of 2 or 3 sort of rogue players as such, as long as everyone else brought into the team ethic. Is that the sort of, do you work along the same principles? Can you have a couple of guys who aren't necessarily complete team players?
Well, one thing I will say, and I think it's important to stress this, is that the team spirit, the team unity over the last 3 years in this England side has been outstanding. You know, it's something we all pride ourselves on. We always have done, and we'll continue to do so going forward as well.